The prison gate clanged shut behind him. Paul Clark is a free man again. Dark and foreboding thoughts in his mind grow louder and louder, and finally his inner turmoil speaks to him.
Take it easy, Clark. Relax. The bus for the city will be along any minute.
Waiting. The best years of my life.
15 years wasted. Ruined. You're 45 now, Clark. Worse, you're a broken-down ex-convict. Old before your time.
Grant?
Yes, old Grant could have saved you from this 15 years ago.
I won't lift my little finger, Clark, to save a hair on your head.
The hairs on your head are thin and white now, Clark. Thanks to Grant. And to his daughter, Joanne.
I despise you. I don't care what happens to you.
And don't for a minute forget Harold, your best friend.
You're done, Paul. Finished. And as for Joanne, she's promised to marry me.
Oh, they've been safe and smug and rich, those three. All those 15 years. Here's the bus coming. Now to make them pay for wrecking your life.
Eye for an eye. A tooth for a tooth. A life.
A life. Oh, no. 3 lives. For the living death they've caused you, Clark. All 3 of them have to die. What are they staring at? These other passengers. Is there something in your face, your looks, your manner, giving away murder in your heart? Get hold of yourself, Clark. Don't pay any attention to anyone. Look out the window. There's the skyline of the city beginning to loom up ahead now.
The city. Almost in the palm of my hand, I thought once.
You were making big money in spite of the crash and the depression. You were young, smart, on your way to millions, billions.
Millions, billions. All lost. On account of Grant.
What'd you say?
I was thinking out loud, I guess.
Watch yourself, Clark. You would spoil everything if even a stray word reached Grant's ears of how you intend to get even for that time back in 1930. It came to a head that day you stormed into his office.
Wait, Mr. Clark. Mr. Grant will be furious if you burst into his private office without being announced.
Hold your breath, Miss Seymour. I'll announce myself. Clark, I distinctly told my secretary.
Yes, he told me, Grant. You're in conference. All by yourself, I see. Well, I need $500,000, quick.
For me?
Before the market closes this afternoon. My stocks are on toboggan. Unless I cover my margins, I'll be wiped out. And tomorrow, I promise those stocks will skyrocket again.
You and your market-rigging crowd will manipulate that, I take it. If you survive today, I've warned you, Clark. I won't back up your shady operation.
My operations needn't concern you. You're not involved. All I'm asking is a legitimate loan until tomorrow to save my neck.
I won't lift my little finger, Clark, to save a hair on your head.
Do I have to remind you your daughter is engaged to marry me?
I'm all too well aware you want to marry Joanne for my financial support and no other reason.
So you'd let your own daughter go under, too?
You can't pull Joanne down with you, Clark. Sooner or later, her eyes will open and see what a scoundrel you really are.
You're so righteous. I'd have known better than to come to you.
You're beyond saving, Clark. Now, please get out.
A puny $500,000 meant nothing to Grant that day, Clark. Yet he forced you to raise it somewhere else. Somehow, anyhow, from the funds of your own clients. He's had 15 years to gloat over ruining you. But he hasn't got much longer. This news item you clipped out evening, despite his years, Mr. Grant took his usual brisk, solitary walk along the rocky bluffs of his suburban estate, overlooking the sea.
A man over 70 won't wait for you to revenge yourself, Clark. He might die a peaceful, natural death any time now. You know those rocky bluffs, Clark. You know the roaring ocean pounding on those crags way below them.
Ready terminal, everybody. Everybody out, please.
First thing to do is to find a hideout here in the city. Some inconspicuous, obscure rooming house where nobody will remember or recognize Paul Clark or care who you are or what you do.
Joanne, why pour yourself in Harold brandy and none for me?
70 or 100, I suppose you'll insist on your after-dinner brandy, Dad.
Well, I'm going out for my nightly stroll.
Stroll, Dad. Your strolls are pretty strenuous. Be careful, darling, won't you? Those cliffs are so steep and deserted.
Why, what's come over you, Joanne? I've walked those bluffs all my life. Now, don't worry about me. I'll be back in a little while.
There he is, Clark. Louis Grant, retired financier. How would he feel if he knew Paul Clark, retired convict, is concealed in his grounds, watching every step he takes through night spyglasses? Look at him now. His head high, shoulders back, not noticing where he steps.
Never notices where he's stepping. That spot he just passed.
Spot, Clark, out of sight, from every direction except the sea. A narrow, concrete path running along the edge of the cliff. A sheer drop 500 feet. Sure death to any man who plunges down into those jagged crags, into the ocean surf way below there.
He walks out there every night.
Loosen the block of that concrete path. Scoop out a hollow underneath it. He'll step on it. That will be his last step.
The moon's so bright, I might be seen if I tried it now.
Wait for a dark, moonless night. After the next big storm, that's it. Make it look like an accident. As if the weather cracked the concrete and washed the ground away from under it.
Sure death. By accident.
For a walk tonight in this weather.
No, Joanne, please stop worrying. A little wind and rain won't hurt me.
I'll take one of those papers.
Here you are, mister. Extra terrible gale. Fours dead, hundreds injured. Read all about it.
Here's the whole story in the paper, Clark. Look, read that.
The battered body of Louis Grant was found this morning in the surf among the crags at the bottom of a cliff on the edge of his estate. Apparently a concrete path weakened by the violent elements collapsed under Mr. Grant while he was walking in last night's wind and rain and hurtled him 500 feet to instant death.
Just as you planned it, Clark. An accident, the paper says.
It was an accident.
Tonight was when you were going to undermine that concrete, Clark. You haven't had a chance to get out to Grant's place since the storm ended.
The storm did do it.
You've been cheated, Clark. Cheated out of your vengeance. Nature double-crossed you. Nature killed Grant, not you.
It's not fair. I
all worked out.
Too late. You've lost your chance for revenge.
So Joanne and Harold are left.
Even Grant might not have wrecked you if Joanne had stood by you, Clark. That evening when Joanne told you, almost the minute you arrived at her home.
I'm not going to marry you, Paul.
Is this some kind of a joke, Joanne?
You left your briefcase here, Paul. The one you brought with you from your office last night.
Have you been prying into that briefcase?
Dad told me today that you needed $500,000 yesterday to save yourself from being wiped out in the stock market. You weren't wiped out today. You made a cleanup.
So, you had to go snooping into my briefcase. All right, I did juggle a few figures, wrote in some paper losses from my clients yesterday. I'll make up for it with paper profits for them some other day. Nobody will ever know the difference.
I will. I've tried to have faith in you, Paul. I've tried to deny to myself what people have whispered and hinted about you. But now I can't be the wife of a man I know is a thief.
And you're running out to tell the whole world.
You say that you'll restore the money you've embezzled. I won't go out of my way to expose you, Paul. But if there ever should be an investigation, I'd have to tell the truth.
Joanne, I love you. You still love me. If you go through with this silly business of being so precious upright, it may ruin me.
That's all that's really worrying you, isn't it? Not losing me, but how much it might hurt you. You know, I've never felt this way until just this minute, but I despise you. I don't care what happens to you, and I never want to see you again.
She walked out on you, Clark. People began to talk. Old Grant was asking embarrassing questions in the stock market about how you had covered your margins. You couldn't take a chance on rectifying those clients' accounts you had juggled, even if you wanted to. Then you went to Harold Schuyler and begged him to help you.
I don't see how I can help, Paul. You're my best friend, Harold. Joanne's always admired you. Persuade her to take up with me where we left off until this thing blows over. Just for appearance's sake, if nothing else. Maybe that would put a stop to these stories going on around about me. It might even shut her father up. I tell you, these foolish rumors are going to break me if they keep up.
Are they just foolish rumors, Paul?
You don't believe them, do you?
It's hard to tell you this, Paul. There's nothing I wouldn't have done to help you if you'd been honest. But now, well, I love Joanne, Paul. I always have.
You sneaking hypocrite.
I've never let Joanne know my feelings toward her. As long as she loved you, or there was a chance you really loved her. Or as long as you could make her happy. But you're done, Paul. Finished. And she's promised to marry me. I'm sorry, but you may as well know how things stand.
It was Joanne's testimony that clinched your prison sentence, Clark. Grant's been dead 3 months now. But Joanne and Harold are still on the old man's estate. And Harold comes into the city every day.
To run Grant's business.
Harold is enjoying all that wealth and power you should have inherited, Clark. Joanne drives Harold, not you, to that little suburban railroad station to catch the morning commuter's train every day.
That's it.
There's a long, steep grade and a sharp S-curve at the underpass leading to that depot. Remember?
A high stone revetment at the bottom on both sides of that curve.
Loosen the cotter pin, Clark, in the steering mechanism of their car. The way Joanne speeds down that grade and takes that S-curve, they'll crash into that railroad station, all right?
Both to death.
Another accident, Clark. But this one is going to be your doing. Revenge, finally.
Steering gear. Won't work. What's the matter with the steering gear?
to meet her husband, who was arriving on a late afternoon commuter's train from the city.
Late afternoon train. Only Joanne dead.
Fate is against you, Clark. Blocking you at every turn.
No.
Joanne was killed yesterday afternoon. The idea was only then coming to you to loosen the cotter pin. She was already dead while you were thinking about it.
Why? Why, Grant gone, Joanne gone. Why couldn't I have killed them? Thank heaven Harold is still alive.
He's all that's left. Your last chance for revenge, Clark. This can't be an accident.
Out and out murder.
Harold played into your hands, Clark, when he moved into this city apartment house after Joanne's funeral. Nobody saw you come into the building just now.
Harold's home, all alone. His manservant's off for the night.
Yes. There'd be a decanter. Harold always had a decanter around. It may take some tricky doing to slip the pulverized poison tablets out of your pocket into the liquor.
I'll have to take a drink with him.
And then leave quickly to clean the poison out of your own system with an antidote. But Harold will die in agony. This is the critical moment, Clark, when Harold opens this door.
Oh, Clark. Just heard Harold. Come in, Paul. Must you be leaving so soon, Paul? I only dropped in for a few minutes, Harold, but it's good to be reconciled with you once more. It almost calls for a toast. I'll pour a couple of drinks, Paul. Help me, Paul. Horrible pain. Spasm. Dead? He didn't touch a drink, but he's dead?
He died in agony, Clark. But your poison didn't kill Harold.
Fate, eaten again by fate. There's no justice. I'm dead.
The poison, Clark. The poison you put in the decanter.
Still in the glasses, too.
You would have had to risk leaving it behind if Harold had taken a drink. There's no point now in leaving incriminating evidence. Pour out the liquor. Wash the decanter and the glasses. Take care you don't leave any fingerprints. Hurry. Cover your tracks and get away from here.
Police investigating the death last night of Harold Schuyler found a bottle of poison tablets used as an insecticide in Schuyler's medicine cabinet. Beside it, an almost identical bottle containing harmless nerve tablets of the same size.
Of course. Never.
Go ahead. Open it. You've done nothing.
You, Paul Clark?
Yes?
You're under arrest, Clark, for the murder of Harold Schuyler.
I didn't do it. He took a poison tablet by mistake.
Clever of you, wasn't it, Clark? Planting that poison tablet bottle beside the other one so we'd jump at the mistake theory.
I didn't do it, I tell you.
You were too clever, Clark. The decanter was empty and washed clean when the body was discovered. Not a fingerprint on it, not even Schuyler. But his servant says Schuyler never let that decanter get less than half full.
But I'm innocent, I swear it.
We drained the trap under Schuyler's bathroom washbowl, Clark. Chemical analysis proved there were traces of bichloride of mercury in it. You bought a bottle of bichloride of mercury tablets the other day.
To exterminate vermin.
Kitchen vermin, you told the druggist. Where's your kitchen? Where are the tablets you bought? You don't have a kitchen in this room, Clark. We've searched. You don't have any of the poison left that you bought either. That might have been some alibi.
If I had the poison left that I meant to kill Harold with, I might prove my innocence. That's ironical. That's funny. I am I'm innocent, but you don't believe it. No jury will believe it. The man who couldn't kill guilty of murder.
To be hanged by the neck until dead. Dead.
Oh, you can't hang an innocent man. That would be murder. I want justice. I want justice.
You'll get all the justice that's coming to you, Clark. Come on now.
No. No. This is murder. Murder.
My teeth had gotten so stained from smoking, I finally bought Topol. Topol's kind of expensive compared to regular toothpaste, but compared to what I spend on cigarettes...
Topol Smoker's Tooth Polish, a combination of polishing agents and a rich foaming cleanser, is specially formulated to help remove ugly yellow tobacco stains. Yet laboratory research has proven Topol...